Hi everyone, there have been a lot of big changes to Wrench recently and I wanted to make a quick video to show some of them off. So to start, there is an object smoothing based on the size of the object you're holding. So if I shake around something like a crankshaft, it moves lazily, pick up something small like a bearing, and it's snappier. And this gets rid of the jitters that were there before and also helps give you a sense of weight for what you're holding. We've also implemented a more advanced install system. So this is a guided install object, and the crankshaft wants to slide in on a little track so it slides in smoothly, and it wants to orient itself so that the cylinder number 1 is at top dead center. And that's something we're going to use on a lot of stuff. It works well on fasteners and generally anything that needs to be slid along a linear track into place. And here I'm just putting together some of the new content quickly. Got the bottom end and main bearing caps, got a windage tray, an oil pan, in addition to the new install systems, all of the existing systems have been gone over and redone and polished. So some subtle changes are things like install occurs when you release grab, not upon distance. So you get the part within the distance, the indicator turns green, and then you release and the part installs. And you can see here again, this is another guided install. This works really well on valves. So it wants to slide in nicely, like it's sliding into a valve guide. And it actually makes installation easier rather than harder, which is nice. And there's also been a bunch of changes to the way tools work in Wrench. So first off, the amount of force a ratchet or a hand tool can generate is now based off of the length of the ratchet. So you can see that's the main ratchet, and there's that little one. And then we've also added an electric rundown feature. So you can squeeze the trigger and it'll do an analog control to spin the ratchet like an electric ratchet. And this has 0 torque on install, and I think we have it at like 30 Newton meters of reverse torque right now. It's just a convenience so you can run the bolts down quickly. So if I run it down, you can start tightening. And we've also redone the way we represent effort and the way we represent torque on the bolt. So it's sort of like you're pulling with a spring. The further your hand is from the ratchet, the more force you're pulling with. But then also that force builds up over time. So you can't instantly generate large amounts of force. It takes time to do the work. And that helps give your brain some sense of pulling effort. You can see on this little ratchet, it's much stiffer because it's got a shorter handle. We've also got bolt braking back in. And there's this fun little Easter egg for when you break bolts, which is nice because you don't have to extract them. And then the cast here is another good example of a guided install component. It's subtle, but it's just a nice little polish thing. So you got to put the cast in and it slides in place. You can see it wants to orient itself so the bracket's facing the right way. And put the bolt in and tighten it. Now the other big thing that's been implemented is the first pass at the non-VR 2D mode. And the nice thing about this is you can freely switch back and forth between VR and playing on your mouse and keyboard anytime. So put the controllers down, I just push one button, and I'll pop into the non-VR mode. And you can do all the stuff that you can do in the VR mode in this mode. So there's 3 different interaction modes right now. As you can see in the top left, there's free look mode, which is like mouse and keyboard to move around. There's rotation mode where you can rotate whatever object you're holding. And then there's locked camera where you can drag objects across the screen without the mouse moving. And locked camera is nice for when you're using tools because it doesn't move your view every time you spin the tool. So this is rotation mode. So you just drag around the object to change its angle. And if I place it over here and use some valves, I can show you locked camera mode, which is pretty convenient if you want to install a lot of parts in a nearby space really quickly. So now if I want to switch back to VR, all I have to do is push one button and then put the headset back on.